Welcome to another edition of That Green Vegans podcast. I'm Kelly Hiller. So today is a very interesting podcast today. And it was actually a request because I was recommended this show called Age of Attraction. And I watched it and it was very, very interesting. But it was one part that really stood out to me. And it was funny because a couple of my coworkers also was watching the program. And we had this discussion around the water cooler. And it was one part. And that is what the title of this podcast is. Women are ovens and men are blowtorches. Ooh, boom. So the thing about it is, it's kind of self-explanatory. You know, when you crank up an oven, right? You have to warm it up, right? But with a blowtorch, boof, it just comes full force, right? So it's almost like that. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Like, they're two different planets. And so they need to be treated different and explored differently. But it was really funny. So for those people who have never seen the Netflix series, it's kind of like one of those dating shows where you get like, a bunch of women, a bunch of men, you put them on an island and then they, get to know each other. They kind of click up. And then once they click up, then they take them they let them live together. Right. And then, get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. So it was very interesting that everything was happening like super, super fast. Like they met within 3 days. They were like a couple and then they were like, living together. And, a lot of these couples were having sex on the first night. In this one particular, it was hilarious. So they didn't show the couple, but you got to hear the audio. And he was like, and they were like, and then it was like, it ended before it even really started, kind of situation. And, he was just, making all these different excuses. And, she was like, oh, well, it was nice. It needed to be longer. Now, I don't know if she was talking about like physically longer or like the act to be longer, but however, she said it should be longer, right? And then he was like, yeah, well, and blah, 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 which it happens, it happens, right? He's probably like super excited and maybe it's been a minute and that. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't happy about it. But she made the comment, which the title comes from. She said, women are ovens and men are blowtorches. And I was like, I don't know if I was a man that I would want to hear that. But she makes a really great point because what she's basically saying is that women need to be warmed up. And let's just keep it a buck. I guess this is going to be a rated R. Yeah, I have to put some kind of you know what? Let me put a disclaimer right now. I know it's kind of late, but I put a disclaimer right now. It may get a little adult. It may get a little adult in here, right? So, I'm just saying, but we adults, we should adult. I don't have any kids following me, but we adults. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So when it comes to like the woman and because, I remember it was some friends of mine, they were guy friends and they were talking and I'm listening, right? They didn't think I was listening. Well, I'm like low key listening. And, they talk about like, the woman was like dry and they try to go right in. But it's like, well, this really makes sense because did they warm up the oven? Did you warm up the oven, sir? Or did you just put your pizza in straight in the oven, turn it on, wait 20 minutes, and then try to take it out, and then you surprise when it's not cooked in the middle? Let's think about it. And I think it's one of those conversations that, some guys just don't talk about. Like, I feel like when it comes to being in a relationship kind of thing, or maybe it's a part where it's like it's going to be intimate, like I feel like conversations need to be had. What are your likes, what are your kinks, what kind of things, blah blah blah. But this is, you got to know the person, right? But I feel like once you know the person, you want to please them. It's a conversation, and I don't know why people don't want to have those conversations, because I don't know if people get embarrassed, but if you're going to be like butt booty naked in front of somebody, like that should be out the door, right? Kind of thing. Yeah, we're talking about it. We're talking about it. You can click off now, but we still got about another 15 minutes. We still got another 15 minutes to get into it, right? And I don't want to be raunchy. I'm going to be very, very delicate with this situation, whatever, because I don't know if people know, but there used to be this doctor, Dr. Ruth, right? And Dr. Ruth was crazy. And she used to have an article. She wasn't crazy like, batshit crazy, but she was just crazy, like she didn't care kind of thing. And so she would give advice to people, and people took her advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like once you've studied, and once you, like, it was so funny. I remember, I'll never forget, we were young. We were like super, super young, and they were talking about Dr. Ruth, and she was very raw. Very, very raw, right? And I remember my friend saying that he was a guy friend, and we were young, and he was like, I would do Dr. Ruth. And at the time, Dr. Ruth had to be at least 105 years old, at least 105 years old. But it's like in his mind, he was like, I think she know what she would do. I think she would be able to, like, get it there, whatever. And this is like, I feel like these are, just like you have to study for a job, you need to study for a relationship. You need to study for, I'll never forget the movie Waiting to Exhale, right? And it was the same thing. It's like, it was a thing in a part in the movie where, I forgot her name, but she was the single one, whatever. And she used to like try to, date, and she dated this guy from her job, right? And they have sex, right? Because I think too, a lot of women feel like they have to have sex with somebody to keep it and keep a man, and it's like, no, it should be the opposite. Like, if a man want to have sex with you, whatever, it's like that's not the person for you. Not that saying that's not the person for you, because eventually, in most relationships you do like get intimate, but I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't rule it. Like, if you're gonna lead with sex, that's not a good thing. You should lead with other things. Like, you should lead with common interests, and you should lead with like your personality and character, because it's not like you having sex 24/7, right? You're not. You're only having sex during certain intimate times, but what are you going to do the rest of the time, right? And if you're not able to, how does someone say, stimulate? Oh my God, I was in this live, and this lady was like, you stimulate me. And I just started laughing, because I was just like, wow, that's pretty thirsty. But I kind of feel like women, they get it wrong. I feel like women try to lead with sex. And if a person is really like into, and most of, I would just say, the majority of guys that I speak to, yeah, they want recreational. Like, there's certain women they look at as recreational, but when it comes to like being in a serious relationship with somebody, it's like that most of the time they don't even come into play. Like, they want someone that is, kind and nurturer. They want them to be, a good mother, or, whatever, a good wife, just, family person, whatever. It just all depends on the person, right? But then you'll have some women who are out here looking like, how can I put it? Like a whore. You're looking like a whore. You're walking around with your red bottom shoes on and you're twerking your little butt in the air on Instagram, and you looking thirsty and you looking like a hot mess. It's crazy because that's not how to really get a person in your life. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want to make this about, women. You know what I'm saying? Like men, I feel like men are able to, you should get what, how can I say it? I feel like most of the time, like it's so weird when I meet a person later in life and they've never been married. Like I always kind of like, that kind of makes me wonder, like, why? Like, why wouldn't you want that? Like, marriage is really a beautiful thing. It really is. Monogamy is really a beautiful thing, right? It's like you have this person, this is your person, right? And of course, it's going to have good times, it's going to have bad times, you have your ups, your downs, whatever. But if you talk to anybody, the majority of time is more good than it is bad times, right? And so, I mean, it's just so many like wonderful, wonderful things. And I feel like if more people were in like really, good relationships, but it comes with the honesty. It comes with the honest conversations. And I think people don't want to talk about it. And sex is one of those things where I feel like people just, they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to come across looking crazy. Now, this is what I've always told, like when my friends, ask for advice, whatever, I always tell them this. If a man approach you and he really is serious about you, sex will never come into play. It's almost like a sign. When you talk to a man and they talk about sex, walk away. Walk away, because that's not serious. And you might think, well, he's cute. No. And I talked about this on my on a live not that long ago about how character is really, really important, right? Because character is the one thing that you should base it off of. You should base it off of person, like what their morals are, because you want someone. I mean, everybody wants something, right? And I feel like this, and this is crazy. This is crazy. But I feel like people shouldn't date. Nope. Dating is for having sex. If you just want to be out there and have sex, then date. Then just have lots of sex, whatever. But if you really want a relationship, just get it. Like, okay, I'm feeling you. We should go to counseling. Right. And so then you go, I want you to be my wife. Right. And then like the person is either going to be like, yes or no. And if they go, well, okay, then you go to like a marriage counselor and then you talk about it. Cause I went to a marriage counselor before. Right. And they asked really good questions. Like asked, it's almost kind of like that, test with your love language. So you can kind of see now, if you take the love language test and none of you got anything, say there were 10 top things, right? I mean, 10 things, and you have 5 things and they have 5 things and none of them, you have nothing in common. What is up with this relationship? Because I feel like a relationship it should be more, kind of like a business, right? Like a business. What do you do with your business? You show up every day, you work hard, you make sure everything's in order. I mean, that's how it looks at. But people want to get involved. Oh, because this person is cute, or oh, this may make me feel a certain kind of way. No, it should be deeper than that, right? Because that's how you're gonna have a loving relationship, right? Because you're both showing up and you both have the same goal, and that goal is to to stay together, right? It's it's crazy. Okay, back to the oven. Okay, we're gonna talk about the oven, right? So there's there's different kind of ovens, right? So you got the air fryer is an air fryer, but things are getting better, right? Because with an air fryer, it kind of speeded up. So it's different acts that you can do. Like an oven, okay, it's gonna take longer because you have to heat up the whole oven, right? But air fryer is smaller, and you can just, heat it up. I don't know, you probably be thinking like, Kelly, what the hell are you talking about? Well, I'm just saying, like, regardless, both has to get warmed up. And it's like, I think sometimes with men, they are boing, they want to go, right? And it's like for women, you can't be quiet. You have to say, wait, stop. Cause I'm telling you, like, I've been working on personal lube for the past I would say 5 years. Yes. So I do make a personal lube, right? It's all organic, and it's all natural ingredients and everything like that. The thing about it is you have to make it fresh, and yeah, but it's really good, right? And so this stuff that you have in the store, you got all these chemicals and stuff. I know they got to throw off your pH balance. It got to, right? So I don't know, like I need to do some more research to see how I can, but I really feel like I have a business partner, and they're like, you know what? If you perfect this lube, then, we can make a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, although there's a lot of lube in the stores, like that lube is not good lube. It's really not good lube. And all lube is not the same either. They do have a vegan lube, right? But it don't feel right. And you'd be like, well, how you know, Kelly? I went to one of these parties, right? And they had all these different samples. And so I was like, trying to see. I was very interested because, like I said, I'm going to start my own business. But that's another story for another time. You have to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm really trying to say too is, like, women, stop being whores. Stop being so thirsty. Stop out here chasing men, and this is one of the things that I be talking to, my friends about too. It's just like, if you want a person, like, you don't have to be out there half naked. You don't have to be out there twerking and being a thought. And there's so many thoughts out there. Like, it's so crazy. I be on Instagram and I be like, oh my God, it's so many, like, soft porn things out there. And it's really sad. It's just like thirsty. And like when I go to, and let me tell you, and I'm not talking, some people may think, oh, I know who she's talking about. No, because this is across the board, because it is multiple. And I don't know if it's like, if women are just looking like, it's not nobody out there, but it's across the board. Like I have friends that are, I don't know, like, I feel like men don't really do it as much as women. Like women and I'm not bashing women, cause I'm a woman and I'm really down for women, and I'm all about women's rights and women's empowerment and stuff like that. But I feel like it's just gone too much. Like, women, you have to just invest in yourself, right? And it was so funny because I was listening to my aunt over the weekend, and I told her, I said, how'd you lock my uncle down? Whatever. And she's like, I didn't lock him down. He locked me down. I'm like, ooh, clock that T. And she said, don't look for a man. Don't chase. Like, men don't like it when you're aggressive. Men don't like it when you be like, oh, look at what that mouth do. Oh, you just look so handsome, blah, 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 blah. Like, men, they look at that and you show yourself, you show that you're thirsty. And I'm telling you because it hurts my heart, right? That you are out here like being like that. No, be a lady, be classy. Men like ladies, men like class. Now, what y'all do behind closed doors, it should be like that. If you just showing a man like all the goods before who want that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who want that? Like, who would want a woman who showed, her camel toe and all this stuff to the whole internet, right? And then it's like, okay, you can wait. Then he looked like a bozo. Well, let's say you got money, but what do you call it? I digress. Relationships are very sweet and relationships are very important. And I feel like when you find that right person, you can make it work, right? But I feel like you can't force something. You can't put a square peg in a round hole, right? Now, you can put a round peg in a square hole, but there's going to be gaps. Get it? So what you want to do is you want to find somebody who has like similar interests, who you can be a match with, right? And like I said, don't try to look for somebody that look a certain kind of way. Go for go for that person's character, right? Go for how they are. Like when you go, like, let me tell you something. I know couples, right? And you look at them and they just, oh my goodness, it just makes your heart melt, right? Because they just together and they just happy and all this kind of stuff. It's like, that's how it should be, right? You should have that person that just compliments you, be equally yoked kind of situation, and like I said, I have conversations with, like my guy friends and stuff, and they don't like it when a woman is thirsty, right? It's like, it's the subtle things, like the way, their smile and the way they look, and just let you know too, you can't do it online. No, 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 no. In the DMs, no, 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 no. Oh my God. You should hear the story that guys tell me about women who are leaving these crazy messages. Oh my goodness. And I just be like, somebody needs to say something. Somebody needs to say something. You know what? This whole podcast has just did a 460. I mean, a 360. Okay, so, or 380. Is it 380, 380, 360? Something like that. Pick a number. Pick one. I just want to close this out by saying, if you're in a relationship with somebody, don't get to know the person, right? Get to know that person. And I feel like dating is just out of the question. Just find your person. Like, the world would be so much better if everybody just found their person and then you could just rock with that person. I have so many friends that are couples, right? And I just love, love, love them. And I know, because I used to be a couple, you have ups, you have downs, and it's like, it's okay, and I feel like nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. You know what I'm saying? And if you keep working, you're going to get through the bad times, and you're going to get to back to those good times. If you're struggling right now, it's nothing like having a beautiful relationship. It's really nothing. And you know what? Like in the movie Waiting to Exhale, he went kind of quick. And so then when he did it again, and she really wants to give him, when he what do you call it? When he broke down to her, she said, it made a difference, because then she like closed her eyes, and then she said she squeezed real hard. I gotta watch that movie tonight. I really did like Waiting to Exhale. But anyway, it didn't last. But I'm just saying this to say, for one, because she was out here being a hoe, just dealing with hell. No, you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be with somebody, be intentional. I'm just say that. Be intentional, whatever. Be a lady, be classy. And men, you thought I was gonna end this without getting on you? Be a gentleman. Women love gentlemen. Women love men who are kind and all this stuff. And I'm not telling you to fake it, because if you a clown, you a clown. And don't worry, because it's a lot of clowns out there. It's a lot of goofy, silly, dumb women who would just eat you up alive. So don't be discouraged. There's somebody for everybody. But for the solid men out there are really beautiful, classy women who, you might not necessarily look at as an option. But let me tell you something. That's probably your person. So I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this podcast. We are all over the place, but you know what? I'm going to upload this, and we're going to call it a day. We're going to call it a day. And I just want to say, if no one told you today that they love you, I love you. Mwah. Now go out there and be great. Bye.